Press O on rat on O unless he gone in the membrane. Drank or smoked something that drove him insane. Since I don't do evil with plans to live like a true geezer, I won't succumb to tongue, gun or root evil. Got a reading from a Babylon, and he told me the path I'm on is like a Chinese banker that's lonely. So I cross T's and dot I's, deadbeat like a deadbeat pops. Pops that's not mine. I stay solid with the solid, silent round the salad. Evil green with envy, or green they ain't been around it. The movement's been co-opted, and the streets is not it. Stuck between a rock and a dyke box, and glad it's not thick. I could either chisel or sizzle my way out, cause gate route and blowing my brains out is played out. With mouths to feed and minds to free, I stay esophageal up and suckers mouths for me.
I thought that I could do it by my lonely. Try to get right, so many folks is wrong, man. So you know I keep it on, man. No hate for the home, man. No love for the foe, man. We at war, you see. It's gonna take more than me. So what's it gonna be? You wanna be on the free. I thought that I could do it by my lonely. Master self, don't be a slave to these conditions. We was raised to be forgiven, not to ourselves, but those who changed us for them digits and rearranged it in prisons, projects, and a crack epidemic. So I'm raised first and last, even after we finish. Our power black being menace to anyone attacking our women. We smashing the limits, still standing on the shoulders of our ancestors. Keep our heart from getting colder. If you feel me, I share you. It's betrayal every day though. More hollows than halos, so I stay low, swing low. Sweet chariot, I'm gonna ride the liberation train, go and see Harriet. Ain't no fearing, take confidence and we wearing it everywhere we is. Stick to the script or flip the narrative. The symbols predicted our dominance. Me and my conglomerates. I thought that I could do it by my lonely. Try to get right, so many folks is wrong, man. So you know I keep it on, man. No hate for the home, man. No love for the foe, man. We at war, you see. It's gonna take more than me. So what's it gonna be? You wanna be on the free. I thought that I could do it by my lonely.
Now see, nothing makes me angrier when we talk about our civil rights and what we've missed. But here comes the Asians in to join us. Here comes the Latinos in talking about their civil rights. Here comes white women in talking about theirs, the Mexicans, all of these people. And I don't know, some of you are very, very young, but in my experience growing up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I never knew that anybody who was sent to the back of the bus because she was a white woman. Nobody was sent to the back of the bus because they were homosexual. Nobody was sent to the back of the bus because they were Asian and Latin. They were sent to the back of the bus because their faces were black. And now all of these groups are wanting to come in now and take the things that owe us. And some of our leaders stand up there and say, oh, we're all one. We should include everyone that's going in. Every time I hear them do that, I just want to pick up a sock, a shoe, or something and throw it at the television.
I thought that I could do it by my lonely. Try to get right, so many folks is wrong, man. So you know I keep it on, man. No hate for the home, man. No love for the foe, man. We at war, you see. It's gonna take more than me.
Support black media. Peace to the gods.
See, this is why I'm not mistaken by these leaders. See, anytime, first of all, you can't lead me when you call an organization rainbow because there's no black in a rainbow, as you all always know.
All right, peace to the guys. We're in the building. Go ahead and share the platform. I know we're starting a little early today. You know what I mean? I can explain later. But yeah, go ahead and share the platform, comment. I want to see where y'all from, whoever's in the building. Let me go ahead and see who's all in the building, you know. So it's bright in the morning out here in St. Louis. You feel me? So let me see. I know Smooth Frequency came in early. Let me see who's in the building. Let me get some comments before we get started. You know, y'all make sure y'all share the platform because we're gonna have some good information today. You know what I mean? We're gonna get it in today. Got this brother. These brothers actually came through from PANSOC, you know. And okay, we got New Orleans in the building. Okay, Louisiana. Hey, y'all stepping in early today. That's what's up. Who else up in here? Like I said, I know we starting early, you know, so yeah. Detroit in the building. Okay. I know we usually have people from all over. I just want to see who all up in here right now. Don't be shy. Say something. I mean, say something. You know. So let me see. But yeah, you know, like I was saying, you know, we got some strong brothers in the building. You know, I personally believe that from all factions, especially when it comes to our people, we need all type of organizations, you know, going on. You know, we need to represent in all areas, you know. So a lot of times when I look at the United States military, they have something for every single thing, you know. But now we have, or at least for a little bit, actually, we have this organization that specializes in something in particular that we're going to talk about today, you know. So I see we got Georgia up in the building. All right. Let me get the numbers so y'all share the platform. Let people know what's popping, what's going on. I know some of y'all heard of PANSOC, brother AJ as well, and some of y'all haven't. You know, so we're definitely going to have this conversation and get some details, so to open our mind up a little bit about what's going on out here in these streets. You feel me? All right. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. You know, I'm gonna bring brother AJ Fraser up to the platform. We're gonna have this conversation and get it in now. Now notice that this brother, you've probably seen this brother in many pictures from many different organizations, you know. So I've been hearing about this brother at least for a decade, you know, of this brother putting in work for many different things, you know. So, but now he has his own group, and that group we're going to talk about, and also bring some of the members from that group to talk about their experience as well, you know. So let's get it in. You know, y'all show love to the brother AJ Fraser. What's going on, my brother? You up live, AJ? What's good with you?
How you doing, brother? How you been?
I'm all good. I'm all good. How you feeling?
Pretty good, brother. I appreciate you. You know, we don't really do interviews, but I see all the positive stuff you're doing. So, you know, I figured we come and chime on and everything. So, you know, I appreciate you, brother. And that's one thing we like about you. You're positive, and we want to keep this. We want to keep this show today positive. You know, just focus on the positive. We're gonna ignore all the negativity, because really, you know, PANSOC is not about me. A lot of times, I have to spend a lot of time defending myself from attacks, but I have to constantly remind myself that we have a bigger mission, and I can't let the distractions, you know, stop me from the mission.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And just as you were saying, matter of fact, we'll talk about that in a second as far as the different people or even the different platforms that's been attacking your name and also your group as well for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, I don't even want to bring them up.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. I'm with that too. I'm with that too. So I do want to talk about some of your background. You know, I just want to get right into it. You know, so first off, you know, when did you actually start this type of work? You know, what brought you in this type of work? You know?
Well, you know, I joined the Marine Corps when I was 17, a long time ago, and I was Marine Corps infantry. I was part of a helicopter company. We call it a helo company, and we learned a lot. We acquired a lot of skills. You know, infantry, the difference between infantry and special forces, you got 80%, about 80% of the military is what we refer to as POGs. They don't really like that word, but that's the acronym. So it stands for personnel other than grunt. Those are your cooks, your truck drivers, your engineers. You know, basically their job is to support infantry. Then you have about, I'd say maybe 19% of the military, which is infantry, like what I was. And those are the ones, you know, our jobs are basically frontline combat. You know, I was an infantry rifleman, so we were the ones running around with the M16s, running up in houses, doing patrols, stuff like that. And then you got 1% of the military, which is special forces, and their main specialty is behind enemy lines. You know, so those are the ones you see. Yeah, go ahead. Those are the ones you see jumping out of planes and stuff like that. Matter of fact, if you want to open up with that video to kind of show people who we are before I get started, we could do that.
Yeah, I was just getting it ready, but yeah, I go ahead and open up with that just so people can kind of catch up with what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
And we should have Colonel Tucker and Major Mikael trying to chime in the back room as well.
Okay. So let me go ahead and run that video, and yeah, so people definitely pay attention to what's going on in the video, because all of the things that's in there is exactly what we need for our people, you know. So, and I want to talk about that once we come back. Peace to the guys.
I've been changed. I've been changed. You know the angels in heaven shine my name. Well, you don't believe that I've been redeemed. You know the angels in heaven shine my name. Well, follow me down to that outlaw and dream. You know the angels in heaven sign my name.
As Hurricane Florence made landfall, they perform water rescue.
You know
a symbiotic relationship with the united goal of helping people through what may be the worst time in their lives.
I've been changed. Good Lordy, know I've been changed. You know the angels in heaven sign my name. Well,
going straight here, we got there,
you don't believe that I've been redeemed. You know the angels in heaven done sign my name. Well, follow me down to that old Jordan stream. You know the angels in heaven done sign my name. I know I've been changed. You know that I know I've been changed. Good Lordy, I know I've been changed. You know the angels in heaven done sign my name. Well,
Uprooted rescuers were immediately in the water, saving lives.
Sign my name. Well,
beautiful, beautiful, you know. And so I know it's a lot of videos that we just watched, but can you go over some of the rescue missions that you actually had to, do under PANSOC?
Yeah, so kind of getting back to what you first asked, I personally learned how to rescue in the Marine Corps Infantry. We were a helo company, so we did do some stuff behind enemy lines, but the majority of stuff we did obviously was frontline combat and training. When I joined the movement under Crystal Muhammad in 2016, I learned a lot, but I also felt there was really a void in the movement overall, because I've been doing rescue for a long time, and I felt like there was there was a lot of relief, but not a whole lot of rescue coming on. So while I was under there, we started doing hurricane rescues at first with my boat. We started with Hurricane Harvey, and I've done a bunch. To be honest with you, since 2016, I don't know if there's anybody who's been on as many hurricane rescues as I have, because most people who do hurricane rescue only do it when it comes to their city or their area. Whereas with us, PANSOC, we travel all over the south, the southeast, and everywhere where hurricanes will hit. We've hit up most of the hurricanes that have hit the U.S. since 2016, with the exception of ones that we knew, wouldn't be what we call super soakers. We have ways we could make pretty good estimates about whether it's going to be a lot of water. Our main focus is water rescue by boat when we're doing the hurricane rescues. And of course, other things we work on is sex trafficking rescue. With sex trafficking rescue, I don't normally wear a body cam, because you don't know what can happen when you're doing stuff like that. You don't always want everything on video. We did take a picture one time, and that's what you saw at the end of the video of a sex trafficking rescue we did of a 15-year-old, and her and the family thanked us for that. And that, of course, was spearheaded by Sisters of the Underground, led by Commander Lacetti Shakur. And I want to give them and there's also Cassandra Cousins. There's a bunch of them, but I really want to give them a shout out, because without them, a lot of stuff we do cannot get done. A lot of calls we get come from the Sisters on the Ground. They rescue a lot of people. They also have their own melanin alert as well. It's kind of like an Amber Alert created by them, for kids who are kidnapped. And I couldn't tell you how many rescue missions. We have, I believe, 136 chapters, and we have several overseas now as well. So I couldn't even tell you how many rescues we've done, because most of the time when our guys are doing rescues, they don't even contact me unless they need advice or some type of support. But the reason I bring that up, is very important when you're a rescue unit to have a lot of chapters, because the reason a lot of people like to call on us is our people are everywhere. Now we're not everywhere outside the U.S. yet. We only have, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 chapters outside the U.S. so far in Africa, but we're working on it. But inside the U.S., having I think 130 something chapters inside the U.S., even if we don't have a chapter in that city or that state, we have a chapter close enough where we could generally help out, or at least get intel when there's some type of issue, whether it's security, whether it's domestic violence rescue, sex trafficking rescue, all types of things. So, and of course, when you're doing rescues, a lot of folks don't know it's a team effort a lot of times. So the rescue might not all be done with one unit, like with a 15-year-old girl we had rescued recently, that we did post about. That was done in collaboration with us, Sisters on the Ground, and others. And our job was basically to go in, with the rifle, surround the place, and basically put the fear of God in them, let them know, if we don't get the girl back, this is what's going to happen, and it worked. As well as along with Sisters on the Ground on the phone. With the kidnappers directly, making sure the family got home. So, it's all different types of rescue. The reason why we're jumping out of planes, right now we're at a point where if folks are kidnapped inside the U.S., we can help them. But we want to be able to get, let's say someone's kidnapped inside the U.S. and sent to another country, Saudi Arabia. Well, we want to be able to get to them and help them out. And that's why we're jumping out of planes. The reason why special operations units in the military all have to go to jump school is because that's how you get behind enemy lines. Usually you might occasionally have to scuba dive somewhere, but we do a little bit of that too. But it's mainly, jumping out of planes to get behind enemy lines, do what you have to do, and then usually get a helo evac out, or depending on the situation. So sometimes you can get in other ways, but usually that's how you get in. So we want to be able to basically, our overall goal with PANSOC, and a big step that changed for us was the end of 2017 when all those videos came out of the slavery going on in Libya. A lot of folks talk about the transatlantic slave trade, but they don't talk about the fact that the North African slave trade has been going on about 3 times longer than the transatlantic slave trade went on. It's been going on since 600 AD, and it's still going on today, and nobody's really doing nothing about it. So at the end of 2017, when all those videos broke about what was going on in Libya, which was sparked after Gaddafi's assassination, we kind of elevated our focus to not just focusing on like hurricane rescue and sex trafficking rescue inside the U.S., but trying to become an overall global rescue unit. Our overall goal eventually is to be able to rescue anybody on Earth that needs rescue, and that's anybody, so that's our overall vision. And one thing that can help us with that is I'm not just, I am the founder, and I do run PANSOC, but I'm not just a member of PANSOC. I'm a member of several rescue units. I'm not going to mention their names online. I'll talk to you about that privately, but there are some units out there that are rescuing slaves and particularly child slaves all over the world that I'm with as well. So, we got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Some stuff we'll post, some stuff we don't. Usually when we post stuff, it's for 2 reasons. One is for recruiting. The other one is to lead by example, because again, I feel like there's not, I can't do everything. Even PANSOC, we can't do everything, but we feel it's good to lead by example sometimes and show people, okay, with all this training, all these weapons, this is what you can do with it aside from just marching.
Absolutely. And I tell you, that's one thing that I thought about, because there's so many different rescue teams, but a lot of them is not even our color skin, so like that can make some of us actually feel like some type of way when they are to come in and quote unquote rescue us. We don't really know what's on people's mind, but to also see someone of our color skin, it will make us feel comfortable. No matter if it is like other races on the boat, for example, if I see one person from our same color skin, they'll make me feel a little more comfortable actually hopping on the boat or being rescued and things like that, because sometimes we never know. Some people could say they are part of a rescue team, but they really not, you know what I mean? Right. So, it'll just make us feel comfortable to have our color skin and really in everything. But definitely when it comes to rescue missions, because I'm not going to give a damn for the most part. If I feel like I'm dying or something, I'm gonna want somebody to rescue, but it'll make me feel a lot better if it's someone that look like me that's coming to save me. So. But
one thing on that I want to bring up, one problem I've always had, and I work with everybody, I rescue everybody. That's just how I am. I'm ex-military and I operate the same way I did back then. But one issue I've always had with our people is growing up is, black folks, you can't do this. We can't do this. You're not black if you're jumping out of planes or scuba diving or this and that. And I always felt like, look, man, people are people, and anything anybody else can do, we can do too. So, I'm not gonna lie, my first time jumping out of a plane, my first few times, I was terrified, but I kept getting those visions in my head about, and that's really when we started jumping out of planes, was when that Libya stuff came out, and I kept getting those visions about those people that need to be rescued. It's the same thing if I get attacked. Sometimes I want to react, but I have to remind myself, did I join this and start this to sit there and defend myself all day? Because that's just part of the game, or am I going to just ignore it whenever possible and focus on the real mission at hand, which is rescuing people? So I feel like that's another reason why I like to show stuff, aside from, recruiting, promotional stuff and leading by example, but it's also to show people that, don't let, what you look like or the color of your skin stop you from being all you can be. Like, one thing we're big on in PANSOC is constantly evolving. It's like, okay, we're rescuing sex trafficking victims. Now let's start jumping out of planes and rescuing people overseas, who are, show people where anywhere in the world these sex traffickers bring them, they're not going to be safe, because you can legally kill a sex trafficker while in commission of a crime when they're kidnapping a child, And you know, just like in the military, I have no issue with that. So, you know, we're constantly evolving, and I think you know, we have to, you know, because basically I feel like what PANSOC is doing, you know, again, we started with under Crystal, we transitioned to Hashim, and then after that, October 2019, we officially went from being a division instead of another unit to being our own formation. But I really feel like, you know, the biggest thing with PANSOC, we're basically filling a void. A lot of folks will talk about rescue, but you won't ever see it. And you know, I've been doing rescue for over 20 years, and you know, all the rescue units I've worked with, they show a lot of the rescues they do because that's how they get donations and show people who they are. Anybody can claim they're rescuing people, but until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. You know, because of my experiences and what I've seen with all the rescue units I've been a member of. You know, I understand there are some units out there that might do certain things behind the scenes, but generally, once you start doing a lot, you know, there's a thing called cell phone cameras. If you're not recording stuff, somebody else is going to see it and record it. You know, that's just life. Or if it's not someone's cell phone camera, it'll be a security camera or something. Somebody's going to see. If you're doing a lot of rescue, somebody's going to see it. But again, you know, I feel like as a people, you know, we need to stop using excuses or using our race as an excuse not to do things that are necessary to get done.
Absolutely. And with that, you know, I feel like that's definitely important to not have any excuses, because like I said, we need to have actually our color skin on all areas of that that we actually need as a people, you know, to survive. So I look at us as being like ultimately self-sufficient when it comes to everything that we do. So if we don't have every single, like if I could say, military structure put in place, then it's almost impossible for us to be completely self-sufficient. So I want to ask, because you actually have, you said in many states you have PANSOC, is that correct? So do all of the different states, all the different chapters do the exact same thing, or is it like a different, you know, in different states, or how did that actually work?
Yes, that's a good question. You know, every city kind of fulfills its own needs. We do chapters by cities, and every city basically fulfills, well, for the most part, but every city kind of, you know, fills a void. You know, rescue comes in all forms. One of the biggest things we're focused on is no crime in our unit. You know, crime leads to infiltration. That's how people become agents. They get caught doing a crime, and then they take a deal. You know, you can kind of tell. You do background checks on people if they have a bunch of felonies and they're not doing any time behind bars. Well, there you go. You know, you know, so, you know, we remind people, like with me, I've never been convicted of a crime before. You know, I had a misdemeanor in 2003 that was dismissed, you know, and that was 13 years before I joined the movement, you know, and that's one thing that helps me a lot, is that, and the fact that nobody can buy me. I don't really care. I was learning in the Marines at a young age how to survive without money. I can't be compromised, you know, and that's one thing we're very big on our unit, is do not be compromised, because when you're doing rescue stuff, life or death. We don't have really a problem with infiltration in the rescue community. You know, that's why most of the time I just focus solely on rescue. You know, you can only get things done when your eyes are focused ahead of you. But when you're constantly having to look over your shoulders for a knife in your back, you can't really get things done. And that's one issue I've had over the years I don't have in PANSOC. You know, so as far as the chapters, to answer your question, you know, by the way, have Major Michael and Colonel Tucker, are they in the back room yet trying to get in?
Yeah, I see. Let me see. Yeah, Bone Shaker.
Yeah, you can let him in. That's Colonel Tucker.
Okay.
But and then the other one, you'll see Major Michael might be under his I think it's called, what was it called again? Truth TV. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, perfect. So as far as the chapters, every chapter is a little different. You know, we show a lot of what we do in our land chapter to duplicate, but for example, rescue is not just jumping on planes and rescuing slaves behind the lines. Rescue could be something as simple as, you look at our Charlotte chapter, they're constantly out there feeding and clothing the homeless and providing, you know, warming clothes to protect them from freezing to death, you know, when winter comes around. You look at our Nashville chapter, some of our chapters in Tennessee, they're constantly rescuing domestic violence abuse victims and sex trafficking slaves. Our Indianapolis chapter ran by Colonel Gaines. he runs the whole central region. Have got a lot of stuff going up there, including rescue and searching for and rescuing kidnapping victims. Atlanta chapter, you see the stuff we're doing. Our Augusta chapter, they're constantly training and volunteering to help out with rescue missions. So, our California chapters are doing a lot. We got folks everywhere. Louisiana, Baton Rouge, especially in Baton Rouge and up there in Shreveport. Texas. I mean, we got chapters everywhere, but every chapter is doing like kind of their own thing. But we try to model things off our headquarters, which is our Atlanta chapter. Because originally when PANSOC just began, it was our Atlanta chapter, and then after our Brunswick maneuver, we started to blow up, and then we just kept putting in work after that. And we grew. I think we grew to over 100 chapters in less than a year. So we're growing very fast, which obviously makes us a huge cointelpro target. But again, we just gotta stay focused forward. My best thing I try to do is I try to cut off all the negativity, ignore it, and just focus on the objectives ahead. And I'd like to introduce y'all as well to Colonel Boneshaker, Colonel Tucker, and we have Major Mikael. Colonel Tucker, he's our Southeast Regional Chief of Staff. He's our highest ranking in our state. He basically runs our Southeast, which is our largest region. He's got a lot of soldiers on him, a lot. I couldn't even tell you how many. We just go by chapters. We don't know how many soldiers we have. And then Major Mikael, he runs our Atlanta chapter, one of our largest chapters as well. I think we have 25 currently, 26 on our Atlanta chapter. So I definitely want to let them introduce themselves, let them know why they joined PANSOC and why they feel PANSOC is important. I guess Colonel Tucker, we'll start with you.
All right, peace and blessings, everyone. I'm Colonel Boneshaker. Like AJ said, I'm out of the Augusta chapter. We started the Augusta chapter maybe about a year and a half ago, but maybe 2 years ago. And a lot of stuff we've been doing basically lately is doing a lot of training, a lot of gun safety training, maneuvering through woods, bushes, in houses, whatever it takes to increase our rescue unit, all in one basically. And I pretty much joined PANSOC after I seen the maneuver that AJ had did down in Brunswick with the Ahmaud Arbery movement, and they kind of got me into looking into what PANSOC does and the things they're a part of. And once I started investigating, I contacted AJ personally myself and told him right then that this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to continue to do moving forward. So that's pretty much where I stand currently right now in the Augusta chapter. We have maybe like 15 members so far, 15, 16 members. And we do a lot of feeding the homeless also. We try to feed, clothe. Recently we did a feeding with also giving out haircuts also. So we try to not just feed them and clothe them, but try to give them some motivation to continue to move forward, and try to live a happy life somewhat.
That's all.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much, man. I mean, General AJ, has already, set the chapter up here in Atlanta. I'm just following the lead and everything that he has already done and following and being a shadow to, Lieutenant Colonel Boneshaker and what they're doing over there. For myself, I met AJ, several years back when we had an issue down South Georgia, when a brother of mine, Pop Herbert Gilbert, was murdered and shot down by one of those police officers, sheriffs down in my city. So they came down and, they showed us what liberation looked like, changed the whole face of our city. And so from that point on, I've been, just right here with the brother AJ. And, later on, I'm saying, like, because I've always been into, health, in that regard. I started a business, with natural spring water, Biomineral Plus. And so one of the aspects that I was going to bring to the business was it was called Biomed, where we was going to provide health services to the people within the community. And when I talked to brother AJ, he was like, bro, you need to be a part of PANSOC because this is what we got going on. And I was like, man, that's crazy because we share the same vision in that regard. You know what I'm saying? And so so here we are today, training, we're focusing now as far as myself, and what I wanted to bring to the chapter in Atlanta is more medical training, getting these guys, prepared in that regard as well, and across the chapters as well. But we got a couple of trainings coming up right now that's going to be providing, stop the stop the bleed tourniquet training, CPR, get everybody certified, and wilderness survival training. That's another aspect that we bring to the table, partnering with the general from Allied Saracen Alliance. And we've been going out, banging it out for months. You know what I mean? Some guys been doing it for several years, but that's just what we're doing here, wilderness survival training in medical.
I think that's powerful, and it sounds like, to bring that together, to bring that into, one organization, one movement, So I wanted to ask, and anyone can actually answer this. What are the actual process in order to joining this movement? Do you have to have a special skill or something like that? Like, how can people actually join this movement? Oh, no, I got you.
We do a background check. That's our main thing. Obviously, if you're going to be rescuing children from sex trafficking, we don't want anybody with any child sex crimes on their resume. A lot of times, too, it's tough because a lot of times that stuff's hidden. A lot of times you won't know the details till you pull someone's court documents. But we're going to at least do a background check and try to make sure there's no stuff like rape or unjustifiable homicide. When I talk about unjustifiable homicide, I'm talking about personally. Our opinion is, okay, if somebody kills your brother, I understand why you might want to kill them. But if you just went and killed somebody for money or what, we don't want you in our unit. We're rescuing women and children. We're rescuing anybody really when it comes to slavery, hurricane rescue, or what. So we don't want to look like hypocrites. We're not going to allow people in who have like convictions that are basically counter to what we're doing. Now just because you're a felon doesn't mean you can't get in. We've recruited several felons. It just depends on what you've done. Whether it's a felony or misdemeanor, what your convictions were. So we go through the background check, screening process, and then we let folks in. We give them a shot. See if they're going to show up to training, work, and keep a positive attitude. We don't allow arguing. We don't allow hate speech. We're a rescue unit, so I always remind people. PANSOC is not a revolutionary unit. We're a rescue unit. We do things different, and it started off as a rescue division, and in October 2019, it became its own rescue unit. So that's our focus. Now, of course, we do have revolutionaries in our unit. We have 130-something chapters, but our focus, and especially headquarters focus, is rescue and rescue training, because we feel that's where the void is, and that's really where we feel we could be the most productive with tangible results. And again, kind of getting back to what Major Mikael said, we're always evolving. We're getting new people in. Everybody has skills. There's no one person that's better than anybody else. There's no one unit that's better than anybody else. Every unit, every person has its own individual skill sets, strengths, and weaknesses. So we try to do, when every time somebody comes new in, we help them figure out, or if they already know, what their skill sets are and how they can bring that to the table. One thing I feel is very important for me as a leader, my mom always taught me growing up, the more you think you know, the more you have to learn. So one thing I do as a leader, I'm constantly training myself and learning new things so I can bring it back to my unit. I'm with a unit that a lot of their people who run the things are former Navy SEALs, and learning a lot of new stuff from them that I never been trained. And that's also important. I feel like as a leader, you should spend more time learning than you are training. That way you have more to bring back to your unit. And a lot of our leaders are like that. So, I have a lot of respect for our soldiers. These are some of the most fearless people I've ever met. And that's one of the reasons why we show the stuff we do, because we want to bring in that type of fearlessness into our unit, because rescue is very dangerous. You have to keep a level head. You'll notice I'm a very laid back, laissez-faire leader. I'm not a dictator. And you can ask any of my members that. Like everybody, I encourage people, get your own donations to help you bring in revenues for yourself and your chapter. And what, I'm not one of those leaders where, everybody who does something, advertise my donation. Like, no, we have a lot of local autonomy in our chapters, and I want people to be their own leaders. I'm not trying to raise them to be followers. I'm trying to raise them to be leaders. A lot of people in my movement start their own formations and they stick with our unit. And that's fine with us. We encourage that. That's because we're trying to raise up leaders. It's not about me. PANSOC is about the people and about helping people and about rescuing people and building up our own people. Some people come in bad situations, and we get them up out of gangs and build them up, and they go from being, from gangbanging on their own people to being heroes. So That's very big on us. But one thing we're constantly evolving, and I feel that's a necessity for any unit to survive and to strive.
Absolutely. And I want to say, just speaking on that, hearing from people that actually know you, always heard good things about you. I never really heard negative things from just this is just me being inside the movement myself. I was a part of the Seattle Tacoma chapter, and hearing from those members that know about you, said good things, and even the ones in St. Louis where I'm at today said good things about you. So yeah, I never really heard any, or at least too much sideways things. So, and you kind of answered this question, but I want to ask anyway, just to clarify. What is the difference between the PANSOC and other organizations that's in a movement? What is the absolute difference between?
I think the main difference is our focus is rescue, and we're very disciplined. I'll put it like this: you can't, when you're doing what we do, you can't go around. Really saying racial stuff. Just like when I was in the military, you can't go around. You gotta just focus on rescue and positivity. You do stuff like that, your parachute might not work, or you might get kicked out of a school. It's a lot of things. I had gotten kicked out of a school shortly after our Brunswick maneuver. And we didn't even say nothing. It was just what we did. But you have to be very careful when you're doing what we do. When you're doing rescue as deep as we do, one thing a lot of folks don't know and you won't really see on camera too often, and I can send you the video if you want to see it, but when you're doing rescue as deep as we're doing, there are going to be times when you're going to get rescued by the rescuers too. There are times when I've been rescued by other rescuers. There are times when I've rescued other rescuers, and when you're doing what we do, you're not focused on like negativity or division. You're just focused on training and rescuing people, and doing what's right. I'll say this, and I say this a lot, and people get mad when I say it, but I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna say what people want to hear. I'm gonna tell them the truth, whether they want to hear it or not. At least from my experiences, I've been doing rescue for over 20 years, all-purpose rescue. That's what PANSOC is. We're an all-purpose rescue unit. So one day we might be rescuing people in a hurricane. One day we might be providing shelter for the homeless. One day we might be jumping out of planes, rescuing slaves, or training this and that. But in my over 20 years experience in rescue, I'll tell you, there are devils in every race. I've seen that firsthand. Sex traffickers, rapists, just people killing people for nothing. It's everywhere. If I kill somebody for something, I'm looking at their background, not what they happen to look like, and that's just me. And again, a lot of people don't like that. I don't care. They're not going to do anything about it. So that's what I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. Like I said, you didn't say anything that's surprising. There's definitely devils in every race. So, and we got to keep our eyes out for those devils, and what we have to do with them, So, somebody mentioned like a chapter in Cali, but are you able to mention like all the chapters, like all the states and even countries that you have PANSOC in?
I can tell you a lot of that offline, but
okay.
I can say for anybody who needs like our assistance, whether it's rescue or security can be rescued too. People trying to take someone's life, we're everywhere. We always got somebody in the U.S. We always got chapters close enough to help out. Now, and I'm not gonna lie, some of our chapters are large, some of them are not. A chapter in PANSOC can be just as small as one person, because I remember when PANSOC was just me, I was doing a lot of stuff by myself, including rescue missions by myself, and then we grew. But so I never underestimate. But what we usually have several chapters nearby where they can link up and help out. But we are everywhere. We have, matter of fact, let me look. I won't say the names of the cities. I'll say LA because we have a pretty large chapter there, but I can look on my phone and tell you how many chapters we have in California. Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, I keep a certain section. It's hard when you start getting large to keep track. But I have something on my phone I can't really get into where I can keep track of the chapters. Yes, we have 136 right now. As far as California, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 chapters in California.
Okay. So, Yeah, so for anybody that, it sounds like anybody that wants to sign up or reach out, it's the best place to go is on the website. Or
Yeah, that's what you could either email pansocrescue@gmail.com. Pansoc@gmail.com was not available, so we created pansocrescue@gmail.com. Or you could go to pansoc.org. You can see that same cover video you would show. They can see what we're doing, as well as videos, some photos and stuff. And from there, they can click on a button to request information where they put in their info, and then we can send them an email with an application.
Okay. Yeah, I got the link in the description. So, how would you actually know if, like, say if someone reach out to you about a mission, or something like that, someone to save or just something going on? How would you actually know if this a real thing or something that PANSOC should be a part of or not? Like what type of stages do you take a look at things or investigate to see if it's real or something that you should do?
Yeah, that's a real good question, because when you're doing rescue, especially when you're a unit like ours that's well known, people set a lot of traps for us. So I can't get into too much details about that. So the people who are setting traps for us, they don't know how to get better at those traps. but we definitely do our own reconnaissance and stuff and other things to look to, because people have set traps for us before. But again, the majority of the rescue ops we've been called upon were legit. Now, usually a lot of times we get a call, it'll come directly from Sisters of the Underground, with them, they already do their own research and stuff to make sure things are solid before they contact us. So, with that, there's a lot less for us to do involved. And, shout out to, I know Chantel Mason as well. There's plenty of them. Mo Black, there's a bunch of them we work with. Commander Lafetti Shakur, Cassandra Cousins, a bunch of them, and we appreciate them. They do a lot of real good work. Unfortunately, like us, the more good work you do in the community, the more you get attacked. Because one thing I've learned about the government, I watched this show called about Edward Snowden, and one thing I'll never forget that he had said was, I don't want to get too much into this, but he basically said like the feds, they're not concerned with like right or wrong or protecting the country. They're more concerned with government supremacy. And I think one reason they have such an issue with PANSOC, I'm not compromised. There's no way for them. The FBI's coming to my door. There's been a bunch of stuff that's happened. I took pictures and sent it to other leaders about it, but they don't run us, so that's one major issue they have with us. We're large and we're powerful, and nobody's pulling my strings. I'm also a member of the Huey P. Newton Gun Club as well. So shout out to Commander Babu and Wally, as well as the PPA, People's Protective Alliance. So shout out to Commander Kamani. But and then we allow dual membership with them, and as well as SOTU, Fred Hampton Gun Club, and the Allied Saracon Alliance. Shout out to General Serene, who's a former Army Ranger, and he does a lot of our trainings for us and everything. So he's a really great asset to us. We have a lot of former special operators in our unit. I'm not sure if they really want me to say their names, but you can go through our videos and you'll see, including our Alabama commander. But really, just getting back to it, it's just all about putting in the work. And I'm sorry, I kind of got a little off track. What was your last question? Again, I was getting into something like.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, like how would you actually know how to, decipher if it's real or fake?
Yeah, we learn from our experiences, and we, I can't get too much into it, but we do our recon. We have people reach out. We do have people everywhere. We have eyes everywhere, so that helps us as well. One thing about PANSOC, we're a rescue unit, so anybody can join. So we have a lot of. That's the thing I think that really makes us different from other units, aside from focusing on rescue. We have a lot of connections, even in the government, because anybody can join PANSOC as long as they can pass a background check. So we have a lot of connections, that can help us sometimes, but at times that can be a detriment too, because the government doesn't like that. At least not everybody in the government likes that. So but basically, the short answer to your question is reconnaissance and gathering intel. Of course, the long answer we can't give because we don't want to give the people setting traps for us ideas on how to set better traps.
Absolutely. Okay. And I'm just looking in the chat to see, what's like basically getting a lot of praise. People love what you guys are doing, and it's real. One thing I want to ask, like, where is the support? Like, do you actually get support for what you're doing? Because what I noticed with a lot of these organizations, where there's not a lot of support that's actually coming from the people. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah.
The problem is, because I'm not gonna lie, we don't get donations often. We could have got a lot of donations after Brunswick because it went viral and all that. But it wasn't about going viral or donations, so I didn't put out the donation link at least till late. So yeah, we probably got, I don't know, we haven't gotten much. But I'd say 95%, for me personally, 95% of my expenses come out of my own pocket. I'm a full-time truck driver. I've had a full-time job my entire adult life. I basically just use my own income. I keep my expenses low, take care of my family, and use my own income to fund at least my portion of PANSOC, guys do most of our members, including Colonel Bone Shaker and Major Mikael as well, but I encourage my members to try to get their own donations as well, because I feel like I earned it. If I had it my way, we'd all get paid for this, and maybe one day we can. We're not there yet. I've never really been trained on how to like fundraise and stuff like that. It's not really my background. But but as far as support, we don't get as much as we should. A lot of that is cointelpro. A lot of people. One thing I've noticed, again, I'm not saying any names. I want to keep things positive, but I've noticed patterns, and a lot of the people who create chaos, they're the type of people nobody, if like they knew who they really were, would be around them. Those seem to be the type of people the feds like to have infiltrate the movement, because they create a bad name in the movement for all the negative stuff they do, whether it's raping women and getting away with it, molesting children, just creating chaos and turning people against each other and all that. And you'll notice the pattern with them. They all have like rap sheets where they should be doing hundreds of years in prison, but they'll never do more than like a couple days, even after getting convicted, after pleading not guilty, And me personally, I don't have immunity, so I can't commit crimes. That's why I don't commit crimes, because I've been set up multiple times to move. There's video footage of it, and thank God it was, there was video footage of it. I had to go away to prison for stuff where people were trying to set me up, So it's funny to me how the feds are trying to set me up, and I don't even commit crimes, but I see people out there committing felonies and stuff, showing off about it, and they don't even spend a day in jail. It's just, it doesn't take a rocket science to see what's going on. So that's the problem. To answer your question, is the feds put like a lot of really rotten people in the movement to give the movement a bad name. And unfortunately, even though the majority of the people in the movement are good, like the bad apples tend to make the most noise, And then you also have people in the movement, and again, I'm not gonna say names, who they'll try to create mistrust, so nobody wants to join the movement. So we still get a lot of recruitment, but donations, you'll never see, at least for us, you'll never see any donations coming in from like celebrities or big time donors, at least not yet, But I think that's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes, like we said in the Marine Corps, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Maybe, I don't know, I believe in God. Maybe that's God's way of, making us tougher and stronger to do what's necessary, because we do a lot of things that are very dangerous. Generally, the most dangerous stuff we do, you're not going to see on camera, because you can't sit there and hold the camera while, you're getting shot at or what. There's a lot of stuff we do. So, there's a lot of times where I'll have to go on missions by myself, even though I have all these chapters, because of certain things, or if I don't want to put people in danger or what, or certain things I just don't want nobody to know about. It's just, as a leader in this thing, there's a lot of things you have to do by yourself off the scene,
Yeah, that's powerful, that for the type of things that you guys do, that you actually come out of your own pocket just to do it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's sad, man, because there are people who don't have jobs.
Yeah,
that they go around committing crimes. They'll bad jacket us, and like me, I've never been convicted of a crime before. I'm like, bro, like, you're a convicted pedophile or what? Like, there's no saying you shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house. It's just funny to me how hypocritical people are. That's why I just kind of gave up and I just ignore it now. I feel like they're just gonna weed out the grass and weed out the weeds. Just focus on the positive.
Yeah. I just want to add to that. In my chapter, we actually we do it like an in-house donation. We don't really charge dues, but if I remember to donate something monthly or quarterly or whatever, we take those donations and use them for training and kind of like helping with the feeding the homeless type stuff. So it's not like we charge, dude. We just kind of like take all our resources inside and use them to our benefit to better benefit our chapter.
Right. Yeah, and that's one thing about PANSOC that makes you unique. At least for now, I never thought about it because I don't know how to, like, as far as taxes and all, I don't really know how to organize all that. We don't charge membership dues as a organization. I allow the local commanders, if they choose to do that, but I don't do it. So most donations we get will be like people inside our unit want to donate to a chapter who's traveling somewhere for a rescue op or a training or something, voluntarily, and then occasionally we'll get some donations from people outside of PANSOC, but that's pretty rare, to be honest with you. And maybe part of that's because I don't really know how to promote, that's never really been my skill set. I'm not really even much of a talker. I'm not a skilled speaker, none of that. I just kind of focus on my unit while I was in the Marine Corps. We were kind of quiet killer basically, and we just kind of did the work and kept our mouths shut. So that's really what I'm used to,
Yeah, I think we got to think about like some type of think tank, that could come up with this, part of economics. Like maybe there could be one in every group or something like that that specifically specialize on how to make money as a group, how to bring money in, to support the different things that we're doing. Because like you said, it could be members that's actually in any organization that really don't have the money. A lot of us are living check to check to check. And it's very difficult, especially with us supporting our families and things like that. It's difficult to actually come out the pockets to actually make a move, So I've noticed that with being with different organizations, so it makes it very difficult to even travel to another state. You got to take time off and you got to do all these other things. So
we got limited pay time off in my job.
right. So we need some type of think tank or something, at least in every group, so we can actually get paid for our passions and what we're doing for our people,
Right.
So it'll make it so much easier, and that's something that I think they definitely do not want, so I feel like
I'm sure they go after the fundraisers. They come after us. Everybody in my unit knows we've all been victims of cointelpro. They come at us hard, and we're not even committing no crimes. They just come at us hard. We do something positive. You see 1 million people online saying negative stuff about us. They're just basically exposing themselves. And we don't hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I've never gotten, in my 6 years in the movement, I've never gotten anybody arrested, never gotten anybody killed. But look at all the stuff we've done. You know what I'm saying? I just operate the same way the Marine Corps training. And then since then, all the training I've gotten since then, that's how I operate. That's how our unit operates. If anyone causes problems, we just remove them. So we don't go and try to blast them online. We just remove them, get back to work.
Yeah, this definitely have to be cointelpro, because for people doing great things, it's kind of crazy to me to think like, I want to hate on that today. Like for what? Out of all the other things you can hate on.
What they do is they try not to look suspicious by playing the victim. But if you actually do your research, we never did anything to them. They just play the victim and pretend we did something to them, so they don't look as suspicious when they attack us. If you'll notice with me, before I joined the movement in 2016, I was cool with everybody, had no problems. I've been doing rescue for over 20 years. As soon as I joined the movement, literally 2 weeks later, agent. I'm like, bruh, you can go. I have hundreds of people in my job that know what. I have hundreds of witnesses that see me every day at my work. The feds aren't going to pay somebody to drive trucks 60 hours a week. They're just not. If they take you, they're going to own you. You go watch all the, people like Whitey Bulger, William O'Neill, Enrique Tarrio. They all have the same MO. They're all criminals who got caught, took a deal not to go to prison, and then they keep committing crimes while creating chaos and setting people up. That's the MO of an agent, So that's why we look at background checks. It's not just to make sure we don't get rotten apples in our thing, but we're trying to prevent infiltration. We don't have as much of a problem with infiltration because we're a rescue unit as the revolutionary units do. But they're still the feds. They're always going to have they always want people everywhere to have control of things and see what's going on. So occasionally stuff like that will happen. But you pay attention to patterns and who's who in this thing. It's really not that complicated, especially if you're like me and you know how to pull people's court documents. I'm not just talking about the electronic court documents, the electronic background checks. I'm talking about actually You know, if you have to go to a courthouse and pull the paper documents, that's where you get the stuff that the feds hide electronically, you know, about people, and you start to see who they really are, and you start to be like, okay, so you got like 10 felony convictions and you've spent only 2 days in jail. What's going on here? You know, because you can't talk about white privilege if you got 1,000 times more privilege than they do in court. You know, what's going on? I've never seen anything like that until I joined the movement. I'm just be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. No, I've seen stuff like that as well. Like,
and those are always the ones creating all the chaos. Like it never fails. Anytime someone attacks PANSOC, I look them up. They always either have a sealed record or not. The other 99% of the time, it's they have a rap sheet a mile long, a bunch of felonies, but they never serve no time. It's always the same thing. You're not going to see that with me. You won't find a conviction on my record. Not even a misdemeanor. I had a misdemeanor dismissed for, you know, I'll just say it, possession of a firearm. Oh well, everybody sees me possess firearms all the time.
Yeah, that's deep. It should make people think about who they listening to. You know, definitely research exactly who's talking.
Right. Especially when they try to act like a saint and they're like the devil. All I can do now is laugh, you know, and just get back to work.
Yeah, because they have certain people that definitely don't spread the hate around. It's always targeted towards a specific group or a specific movement. You know what I mean? So, which is very interesting to me on why they would do that.
A lot of these cats will attack us. I never even met them before. You know, so all I can do is sit back and laugh. You know. Yeah,
that's what it is. You know, but I mean, I don't want to hold you guys for too long, but I do want to ask a couple more questions if you have that time. But I just want to touch on the consistency. What's keeping you consistent, you know, with all the hate and, you know, coming out the pockets? And I'm pretty sure you spend over, you know, thousands of dollars just to make a move here and there. What's keeping you consistent, you know, because you've been doing it for so long, even with different groups, you know, before PANSOC came along. You know, what's something that's keeping you consistent and keeping you motivated to do what you have to do, you know, for our people?
Yeah, so this is definitely something I want all three of us to answer. I'll go first. You gotta love this stuff. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Like, for me, rescue is addictive. You know, you'll know. For example, if I'm doing a hurricane rescue, which is one of the most adventurous things we do, Hurricane Florence is the one we posted on that cover video. You know, that was one of the most adventurous things we've ever done. That was me and General Caleb. You know, and he's really good. He's really solid as well. And you're gonna know right away if it's for somebody or not, because you got people like us. You know, we love the thrill, and we love the rescuing people. And then you got other people who, you know, I'll tell you this about rescue. You have to be selfless, not selfish. If you're selfish, what's going to immediately happen is right when your life's in danger, because you have to put your life in danger to rescue people whose lives are in danger. If you're selfish, you're going to immediately go into self-preservation mode. Start getting angry, you're out here and being like, this ain't for me, you know, and you're going to start panicking. You know, you have to stay calm. One thing you'll notice about rescues, I'm a member of several of them. I'm just not going to say them online because I don't want people trying to infiltrate them. But rescue units, you'll notice the leaders are very laid back. Like when you go to PANSOC or other rescue units, you'll notice that so you just come hang out with them. You're not gonna even know who the leader is. You know what I'm saying? Because the leader's very laid back. People are laid back. That's how you have to be during rescue. If you stay calm, people survive. I've been doing rescue for over 20 years. I've done a lot of dangerous stuff. Not one person's died with me. Not one. We've had some close calls. I got video of me getting rescued. You know, when I froze during a skydive, when I was new at skydiving. You know, somebody raced in, pulled my cord when I was 1,000 feet above the ground. I was about to die. You know, I can send you that video if you want to see it, but I got stuff like that. But you have to stay calm. And so, you know, you have to have a laid back demeanor, stay calm, you know, in any situation. And you got a lot of stuff you do. If you stay calm, it's generally because you're selfless and you're focused on the people you have to help, not yourself, you know. So selfless people tend to thrive in rescue, whereas selfish people tend to either get weeded out or weed themselves out, you know. So for me, it's staying calm and, you know, being selfless. And again, you just gotta love what you do. It's addictive to me. I try to spend like at least half my weekends with my family. I'm working all week, you know, truck driving, and the other half of the weekends is either training or rescue ops, you know, with PANSOC. So that's my personal thing. I like Colonel Tucker go next, and then Major McGill the question in this rescue and training and stuff that we're doing.
What's keeping me motivated to keep me going is pretty much everything General AJ just said. But for me is PANSOC is like a family. I mean, no matter where we train or what we do, we stay in contact. We train together. We eat together. We're basically a family. So to me, the funds is not an issue because when it comes to family, you're going to do what's need to be done anyway, and that's what we do. So by being like that, that was keep me motivated. My comrades keep me motivated no matter what state they're in. I know pretty much every comrade in every state, and we get along well. And we do the work. We put the work in. And like I said, I love PANSOC. This is where I want to be. This is my future, and that's what's keeping me going.
Facts. And I guess, you know, for myself, man, slavery, you know what I'm saying? Slavery, it affected us, you know what I'm saying, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You know what I'm saying? When we see people being liberated through time, we see huge changes happening. You know, for an example, you have that ankh around your neck. You know what I'm saying? The day that you realize that ankh meant something to you, you changed. Some people, other spiritual systems, you know, they change. But one of the things that continuously affects us is the mental aspects of war. You know, we have these talks around, you know, the psychological aspects of war that we really have to really have that conversation about. You know what I'm saying? We have it all the time, but we're not really putting anything in, you know what I'm saying, into practice. And so what PANSOC does, it does that. It brings that practicality that we need when it comes to freeing our people physically, mentally, and spiritually, because within PANSOC, we have different divisions that bring that approach that our people need. We have psychologists. We have people that go out here and free people, you know, on the street corners that need food every single weekend. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, with the movement of PANSOC, it's a complete body that embodies all of these aspects mentally, spiritually, and physically. And so for me, you know what I mean? That's what I see. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's a spiritual aspect, you know what I'm saying? For me, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm attached to these people, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, family, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it's about for me, bro. That's what it's about.
That's what's up. That's beautiful. You know, it's beautiful for you brothers and people to find ways to stay consistent. You know, just thinking about all the things that we've been through as a people. You know, so I mean, I'm pretty sure there was even rescue missions during slavery when, you know, some of our ancestors was being enslaved, you know. So just kind of thinking about, you know, how they wasn't even getting paid, and you know, it's just strictly off of our passion and how we feel for our people, you know.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
One thing I want to bring up on about that, you brought up a great point, and that's one thing I love about the Sisters of the Underground. You know, they model what they do off of the Underground Railroad. That's why they call themselves Sisters of the Underground. You know, and you know, they model what they do off of Harriet Tubman. So that was a very good point. Yeah. Absolutely.
But well, with that said, I still feel that more things could be done with more income.
Right. Yeah, well, we definitely agree. Well, I'd love for us to own our own airplane and just be able, you know, own our own airfields and be able to fly all over the world rescuing slaves. But fortunately, one of the units I'm with now, they actually already have that happening. So we're going to start expanding things with PANSOC as well. They already know that we're planning to bring, you know, the whole unit in on that. I just can't say too much online because you know, I discussed a few behind the scenes about that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, definitely you brothers keep doing what you're doing, you know, stay consistent, you know, for many, and it definitely inspire more people, you know. So whatever type of you know, propaganda you want to put out, you know, I'd be happy to put it out myself, but because we need more of you guys, you know what I mean? So yeah, like through history, we don't really hear about, you know, groups that specialize in these areas, you know, from the medical field to, you know, just doing for like hopping out of planes and rescuing people. Like we don't hear about that. Yeah, it probably happened, but we just don't hear about it. And then, you know, we just need more of it. You know what I mean? So definitely salute to, you know, PANSOC and definitely you three for coming to the platform and just, you know, just putting out this information for the people. Now I want to leave it up to you guys. Any last words that you want to say to the people, you know, anything that you want to put out, even things that's coming up, or, you know, whatever you want to say.
I'll start. I think definitely for all three of us to respond to that. I want to thank Major Mickey L, Colonel Bone Shakers for coming on. I said Bone Shaker. You know, I talk fast. I can't help it. You know, my dad's Jamaican. I was born in Brooklyn, so maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But you know, and OC the Great. I want to thank you as well. You know, for keeping things positive. We never do interviews. You know, matter of fact, it's one of our rules. We don't do interviews. That we let people know when they first join our unit. We don't allow interviews. We don't allow hate speech. We don't allow people talking on behalf of the whole organization or what. You know, we're more of a behind the scenes rescue unit. You know, but you know, I see all the positive work you're doing. You know, I know you've been part of the movement, and also that you keep things positive. So we trust you. You know, because you seem to be one of the few people out there actually trying to promote the movement and promote positivity, rather than trying to promote and negativity and create dissension. So we appreciate you for that. And that's why so many people have asked us for interviews, including news reporters and everything. We've always said no. You saw I didn't do any of those big interviews after Brunswick or other things we've done that went viral, because we just don't do them. So, you know, that's a big testament to you and how credible you are. But again, you know, Colonel Bonesucker, if you could move your arms for a sec, lift your shirt up. I want them to see that. That's the logo. And Colonel Bonesucker, he actually made that shirt for us. That's our logo right there. You know, PANSOC, and again, it's born to rescue. So if somebody makes a post trying to say, oh, we're fraudulent because this or that, well, you know, you could go right there on our website. Our focus is rescue and rescue training. So if someone's saying anything about us other than that, then they're not talking about what we're talking about or where our focus is. So again, I just feel it's important. People need to stay positive and focus on doing positive things rather than focusing on the negative. You know, and that's one thing we love about PANSOC. We got 136 chapters and everybody gets along. I don't even allow arguing in our unit, you know, so that's unheard of, you know what I'm saying? Because if somebody does start creating issues, we just remove them. They remove themselves, we remove them. And instead of being like a cult and trying to, you know, blast them, we just get back to work, you know. So we're not a cult where, you know, you could talk to any of our members about that and they'll tell you who we are. We just focus on doing the work. With me, all I do when it comes to PANSOC, I invite them to rescue ops, invite them to trainings. Other than that, I'm either working full time as a truck driver or taking care of my family. That's pretty much my life right there. You know, so salute to you, appreciate you. I love y'all, and again, just keep doing the work. You know, for those of you who are here for the right reasons and doing the work, salute to you. And that's to all units. No one unit is better than any other unit. Every unit has their strengths and their weaknesses. Our focus is all-purpose rescue. Salute to y'all. And next, Colonel Boneshucker, if you want to help close it out after, and then Major Mickey L will go last. Thank you.
I just want to say salute to OC Great, man. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate you, General, for allowing me to speak on behalf of PANSOC somewhat. But in closing, the only thing I want to say is to my people, continue to train some more, stay positive, stay focused on the mission. We still have a long way to go as a people. You know, we are not where we want to be yet, but we can get there if we come together as a family, as units all over the world. You know, we can do major things, but this is something that we have to focus on and start trying to do as a people. And I just want to say I appreciate you having me on. And like I said, keep training, train some more. And when you think you know it all, train some more. That's all I got. Peace.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, you all have something to bring to the table wherever you are. You know, take time out, you know what I mean, and go to the website, pansoc.org, see what the organization is about, and think and look deep within and say, you know what, I have something to bring to the table. And fill out that form and send it over so that you can, you know, put your bid on the table to be a part of a great movement that's happening, or you could be the one that jump started in your area. And again, just like Bone Shaker said, train, and train again, and train some more.
That's beautiful. And again, appreciate you guys from coming to the platform, you know, for being even available to even interview, you know. So I know you guys could be out training right now, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, salute to y'all, salute to what you do, you know what I mean? And yeah, just stay consistent. You know, I could see more people coming in and doing, if not being a part of the organization, at least doing the same thing, you know, coming up with their own, you know, organization in order to help the people, you know. So I salute you guys. Continue to inspire the people and move in the right direction that we need as a people. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that, and I'll say definitely peace to the guys, and until next time, y'all pay attention and go to the website PANSOC.org to see exactly what's going on, and even to reach out to these brothers in different ways. So salute, on love to next time.
Appreciate it.